Hey there gardeners, Chris here from Gardensteading, and I wanted to talk when to pick your peaches because as you can probably see here, my peach tree is doing really well and I want to get them off the tree ASAP when they're ready. The problem is I've never had to pick a peach before, and so I had to do a little bit of research into what to look for. And interestingly, the big sign that I was looking for, which was that they were red, is apparently not relevant at all. Although, let's be fair, it will be relevant, but how red they are depends on how much sunlight they're getting. So that is not basically your measurement for how ripe they are. One of the things you can look for on something like this is you've got to make sure there's no green on the fruit at all. So a good explanation that I read was essentially they should be very yellow, and that should include right by the stem. And this is the outside skin of the peach itself. It should have a sweet aroma, which unfortunately one of these is just starting to get a sweet aroma, a sweet peachy aroma to it, but most of them don't. And most of them are rock hard at the moment, where if you give them a little bit of a squeeze, they should have just a little bit of give in them. And you do need to be careful, because if you apparently over squeeze them, you're actually gonna damage them and bruise them, which is a problem. And so what's quite interesting with these is that they ripen off the tree, and a trick you can use is to put them in a bag with, say, an apple, or I think it's a banana, and that will help them basically become that last bit of ripeness. However, you need to get them off the tree at the right time. If they're not ripe enough, they're going to be mealy and awful. And if you get them just right, obviously they're going to be a little bit better. I'm actually just noticing here, we've got quite a bit of damage to the stem of our peach there from something. I'm not sure what, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But on to the peaches themselves. So as you can imagine, I haven't picked these yet. This one here, I think it is, it's just starting to get that beautiful peach smell to it, which is one of those unforgettable essences when it comes to smells, I would say. It is a little bit sweet smelling as well. I'm not really sure if I should take it off, because I'm gonna say no, because even though it seems to be getting there, there's just a little bit of green under the peach. And so I'm gonna go for that guideline of making sure that the whole peach is nice and yellow, no green. And hopefully we won't have any pest attacks before that happens. I am keeping an eye on this tree. I've been flicking the grasshoppers off, because obviously they are a little bit of a concern. We're seeing some ants appearing on the tree now as well, as these fruits get a little bit riper. But obviously we do not want to lose these, since we've put so much time and really just the extra water we've given this tree to make sure that these can ripen and that they're not going to just dry out. We don't want that to go to waste, because we're on tank water and water levels are getting down because we just haven't had rain in for so long. And as a result, yeah, we want a return on investment from our water more than anything else, which is quite ironic as someone who's coming from the city previously, where it just came out of the tap endlessly. Obviously, this tree is pretty heavily loaded with the fruit as well, and so that's probably putting a bit more strain on the tree. But again, we're just being greedy. We want as many peaches as we can get. Now, just to give you a couple of extra tips, if you're not getting that nice sweet smell from your peaches and you pick them, what's going to happen is they're not going to have the taste that you're after. They're going to be mealy, and rather than ripening off the tree, they're basically going to dehydrate, which is not ideal at all. One of the recommendations here is to look for a very dark yellow, and as I already mentioned, that no hint of green. And part of the reason for this kind of approach is because the ripening off the tree is called climacteric, and as you imagine, that's what it means. One other thing to look for, which is certainly true on these, is they seem to get rounder as they get riper. And so the much less ripe fruit on this tree are definitely not as round. And so that's an easy thing to check against. And basically what you want to do is you want to have them ripening for a couple of days off the tree to finish that process up. And yeah, you can slow that ripening process in the fridge if you need to, just as kind of a longevity thing, because you might not want to eat them all at exactly the same time, particularly if you've got a situation like this. But these do look like they're going to be a little bit spread out as to when they ripen. And yeah, But really, really cool to be learning something like this because it's something a little bit strange. And I see a big bug. Get off it. So unfortunately, one thing you will notice is this was very, very close to the stem, and I've actually damaged the peach as it came off the tree. We've got this big gouge in it. So we're gonna have to see how we go in ripening this off the tree. But hopefully you can see here, there's no green on the peach at all, which is what we're after. It does have that really, really sweet, beautiful peachy smell. And this is obviously the ripest one on the tree, and it has that little bit of give to it, which is what we were looking for. So hopefully I've done the right thing in pulling this off. The reason I noticed this one was it was a little hidden away on the tree, and it had a big bug on it, and I chased that off and I grabbed it. So there you go.